when you couldn't see me or find me, you freaked out. And I was just out there like, la la la, having fun, doing what I was supposed to be doing,
Hashtag
snorkeling.
unbothered.
Had no
Yeah,
idea that you were over
facts.
there having like panic attacks by not being able to see me. And I wasn't far away. I was with the guide. Welcome to the Brannon Files podcast.
I'm Brandee.
And I'm Shannon, also known as Brannon.
I'm the older sister.
And I'm the younger.
As Black women, we've had a lifetime of adventures, including world travel, navigating work, and adjusting to evolving family dynamics.
Join us as we dig deep into the files to share stories, experiences, and tips. Hey! Hey.
What it do, boo?
It's us again. Another episode of the Brannon Files coming your way.
So you know how we start this thing out. Shannon, what have you navigated through since our last episode?
Since our last episode, I've navigated through trying to help other people think more positively or like use more positive statements. I was grocery shopping the other day and the lady asked me like, how was I doing? And I was like, oh, so far so good. And she's like, so far so good. So like, you think it's going to get worse? And I was like, no, like you went the wrong direction. I'm like, it's just
Right?
not, the day is not over, like I'm still got a lot of day left. It could get better. And she just kind of looked at me and was like, huh. I was like, there's always room for improvement. Like the day hasn't been bad. So I just say so far because the day's not over. And then so good that I'm saying it's good, but it could also always go up from there. And I just feel like so many people take it the way this lady took it and go the opposite direction. I've been really working on like speaking positivity into the world, into other people, into myself, like just into life.
I love
Yeah.
that. That's good.
Thank you. What have you navigated through?
So I would say like maybe not quite the same, but similar. I think I'm just like navigating or working on going with the flow and just letting it be, right? Because I feel like lately, like God has been providing, universe has been providing like just surprises and like happy surprises, It's sometimes I can be a very planned person, as you know, I can be very type A, but I can also be sporadic. But I feel like as I just go with the flow more, like blessings come and blessings have been happening. I mean, yesterday I just was like, finally had just a nice weekend where I didn't have plans. And I was driving and I was like, you know what? I was just doing regular life stuff. I was going to like take the shredding or the recycling or whatever. And I was on the street and I was like, Rooftop Cinema Club. Rooftop Cinema Club is one of my very favorite things to do in the summer. Right here in my town, I have not been all season. And I feel like I missed last season just because I was in and out of town. It was middle of the afternoon. Might I add that I was late for the shredding because I miscalculated the time, but it took me down that street. And I was like, you know what? Let's see what movie's playing right now. It was like 1:30 and the next movie was at 2:30. I was like, perfect. And then it was Encanto. And I love a Disney cartoon. And I really love that one. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go by myself to enjoy this movie. And I'm probably going to be up there with a whole bunch of children, which I was. Okay. And it was just great. The sun was shining. It was a nice day. So I'm just navigating through going with the flow of life.
That's really cool. I never thought about rooftop cinema during the day because when I came to visit you, we went at night. And I live in the South, so in the day sounds like really hot to me, but I'm glad that you had a great time.
I mean, you might have been a little warm too, but because it's closer to the water and there was like, at least there was a breeze. There was parts when the breeze wasn't there that it was a little toasty, but it was still nice. And I was impressed that you could still see the movie pretty good on the screen, like even though the sun was
During the
full on.
day. Yeah, I guess maybe that's really why I don't think about it during the day. It wasn't like the heat is because, me and heat, but the screen was really the thing. That's great that they figured it out so you could still see it well.
Yeah, and I was just like dancing in my little seat to the little songs in the movie. And, actually it was nice to go with the kids because they were dancing too. And had it been adults, they might have been looking at me crazy, but it was a good time.
Yeah, kids don't judge. We need to keep
They
that
don't.
energy too. Like, why do
Yeah.
why do we start judging people once we turn to adults?
I don't know. It's pretty lame. It's pretty whack. But yeah, all out here for positivity that you're harboring, and also like manifesting, and also just going with the flow. Good
Yes.
times.
In today's episode, we're going to give you the lowdown on our trip to the Maldives. So listen all the way through for our international layover insider tip. All right. So today we're talking all things Maldives. What is your favorite memory from the trip?
Well, as I mentioned before, maybe or may not have mentioned, I love a surprise. I love to surprise people. So I think, just a little backstory, this trip was a girls' trip, y'all. So I know that I probably personally don't necessarily think of the Maldives as a girls' trip, or I didn't before we went, but this was a girls' trip and it was a family trip, a little rescheduled trip from the pandemic that didn't happen. And we finally got to go. So it was to surprise my aunt for her, well, supposedly 70th birthday, also another story, but also for being cancer free for over 10 years. So she had no idea where we were going, y'all, like none. We threw her off all kinds of ways. We just told her what to pack, told her the flight might be a little long. And I'm pretty sure she thought she was going to Africa because we gave her like the temperature, kind of to pack the clothes. And I think she really loved Africa. She wanted to go back to Africa. And in her head, she just knew she was going to Africa, I think. What do you think? You
I
think that's what she thought?
Well, I think also her friends threw her off too, because she was telling all of her friends about this trip and like how she didn't know where she was going. And everybody's kind of like, how do you not know where you're going? But I think they thought she was going to Hawaii.
Oh, maybe Hawaii did come up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they were also going to lay over in LA with me. So y'all were laying over here. So maybe that would make sense on the way. But we just referred to it in the family as the fall trip. Like so we went in the fall, but everybody just referred to it as the fall trip. And so nobody would mess up and accidentally say the wrong thing. So like when I tell y'all we surprised her all the way until like the very last leg of the flight. So we flew Turkish Airways. I'm just gonna go ahead and say what we flew. So when we got, well, before that, when we were pulling up to the terminal, she saw it was an international terminal. So she was looking at every airline, trying to figure out, okay, maybe this country, maybe that country. And even when we first got to Turkish, she didn't even know that because we just had her sit over and let us go check in.
Yeah,
Because
like
there were
we had her
several different,
passport and like checked
yeah,
in for her and because like I think on some parts of it we had like assistants. So you
yeah,
just give the person who is like moving her in the wheelchair throughout the airport like the boarding pass and everything. So they'll take her straight to the gate where she needs to go. And we even split off a little bit because I think like only one or two people could go with her. And so
yeah.
it was like it just got even more like, what? Wait, why are they over there and I'm over here? It was like
So
very
yeah, so
much.
it wasn't literally until we boarded the plane for Turkey that she even knew we were going. And so she's like, "Oh, we're going to Turkey." Can I just tell y'all, she tried her best to sound excited about it, but she was like, "We did all this and we're going to Turkey." Okay. But that's what she thought. So I just love the whole surprise element of it. And so then it wasn't until we had our connection in Turkey, and we had a long one. It wasn't until we got on that next flight that she knew that we were actually going to the Maldives. And then the tone changed from the womp womp of we're going to Turkey to, ooh, the Maldives.
But there was also a little bit like we have another flight because like once we got to the Maldives, we even had another flight to get to the island
That
that we
is
were actually staying on.
very
So it
true.
was
All
it
of
was
that
a
is true.
very like it was like 30 hours of travel or
It
something.
was 30-32. It was a lot of travel. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even really longer for y'all because y'all flew west to fly back
To
east so that
buy
we could all
fly
fly
over where we
together.
left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So your favorite memory is just like the surprise of it all?
The surprise of it all. That's my favorite memory. I thought it was great.
Yeah. And so my favorite memory is, I mean, I love that because like just the whole trip in and of itself is a wonderful memory. But I think my favorite memory from that is the memories that we brought home. And with that, I mean, had a photographer that was at the resort take pictures of of all of us together. And we did some color coordinated outfits. So even to the point of where we had to tell our aunt what to pack, and our cousin, because our cousin was also helping her mom out by being able to like get her packing together. And
Yeah.
we could like coordinate like tones of colors, kind of like, yeah, no, that's not going to work. Like we need it to be in this family, not that family. So really, I think the pictures that we were able to take while we were at the resort and bring back with us so we can all remember that trip is one of my favorites.
And I want to add that although I did share that it was a girls trip, it was a mother-daughter trip. Let me be more
That's
specific. It
true.
was a multi-generational mother-daughter trip. So it was our mom and us, and then our cousin and her mom, which is our aunt, and my mom's sister. So I guess it was
So
more
it
than
was
that. Mother,
sisters,
daughter, and sister
cousins.
trip.
Yeah,
Cousins.
sisters,
Yeah.
cousins, mother, daughter, like all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of it together. And it's been a long time since we've taken a trip like that. You know, when we were younger, that was the crew plus Granny,
Yeah.
of course.
Yes, plus
Um,
Granny. Well,
so
and
I
also if you think back to the first episode that we did, and we are talking about those matching outfits, I feel
oof,
like us coordinating for these pictures was reminiscent of those matching outfits. Like it has not left us. We started
but the
out traveling
upgrade,
this way.
but the upgrade of the matching outfit.
It was, I mean, I'm not gonna say that it's upgrade because that back then those outfits were homemade and sentimental. Like you
You're right.
can't get the
Yeah,
quality of the construction of our clothes from back then today. Like it's
that's
just
true.
not the
It was not
same.
fast fashion.
No, it was not fast fashion. So like I can't even agree with that upgrade statement. I can say
Okay.
maybe like the new version, but
Okay.
I'm not gonna say upgrade. I'm not gonna act like those memories are a downgrade.
That's true. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. We were cute in our own way. Well, the outfits were fine. It was just that clown makeup that, might have thrown some of that off. But
I
yeah.
mean, but we were cute. We
Yeah,
all
that's
were
what,
cute. We might
yeah,
have,
we were
everybody
cute.
else might have been looking at us like, what in the world are they doing? But also, like, this was the 80s.
True.
Early, yeah, like, I mean, people were doing some things.
Yeah. But yeah. But now that I think about it being also a mother, daughter, sister, cousin trip, that also adds to the memory. It just
Yeah,
was a special time.
definitely. We enjoy talking with each other, but we also want to talk with you. Comment, subscribe, like, and follow at Brannon Files on YouTube, IG, and Facebook. Don't forget to turn on your notifications to know when we have new content to share.
So what was your favorite activity from our trip? Because we did a lot.
Ooh, we did do a lot. This is a hard one because I mean, I guess I'll just stick with my water theme. Like what
Uh-oh,
episode? What kind of
here we go with the
episode would
water
it
again.
be
Is there trauma with the
without
water, or is
Shannon
it
and
just
some
water?
water? Well, it's not my trauma with the water. It might be mom's trauma with the water.
Oh,
So, and yours actually. This time it was not me. We went out on a boat and had an amazing trip to go swim in the coral reef. And our guide he did his best to try to warn us about the reef and how you don't want to touch the reef, and like how getting off the boat, and that there's only like really one way into the reef. And our mom is really short, so some things that like people who are taller can do, it's not quite the same when your height is different. And there was some miscommunication in instructions. She ended up hitting the reef and scraping her knee. So that's that part of the story, but that's not why I enjoyed it. So I was like, I really enjoyed being able to see the wildlife and just being out in the ocean like that, and then exploring. And I know like the reason why I said it might be your trauma is because when you couldn't see me or find me, you freaked out. And I was just out there like la la la, having fun, doing what I was supposed to be doing,
hashtag
snorkeling.
unbothered.
Had no
Yeah,
idea that you were over
facts.
there having like panic attacks by not being able to see me. And I wasn't far away. I was with the guide. So I was like, I don't know where I was fine. So sorry
Listen,
for that memory for you.
after mom hurt her knee, I was on high alert. And again, we told y'all before, mentioned that like I am the planner for the trip. Now I'm gonna say on this trip, I was a bit traumatized over the planning because I got tired. Y'all, they want to be the planner, the banker, all the things. And I was like, listen, somebody gonna have to take another one of these roles. But after mom got hurt, it was beautiful to be out there on just this sandbank and you could see literally nothing else. But at the same time, we were out there on the sandbank and there was nothing else. Mom is hurt. And then I'm like, now I'm trying to look out for everybody to make sure everybody's okay. And to Shannon's point, like the water wasn't, if your head was under or like snorkeling, you could see the stuff, but it wasn't the clearest if you were above it, kind of looking down. And I didn't see Shannon anywhere. And I was like literally freaking out. And in hindsight, to me, it's a little bit funny because as you just heard, she's out there living her best life, enjoying every minute of it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can see her. So
And
yeah.
I had no idea that you were freaking out by not being able to see me. I knew where you were. I knew where our cousin was. Like I knew where everybody else was. And I was seeing sharks down in the water and all this stuff. Like just like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah. And there were sharks down in the water. I did see a few of those. And it was one of those little dinghy type boats. I also got super sick on the way back from the little island. So yeah. That was an interesting day.
So
that was
not your favorite trip, but yes,
that was not my favorite activity from the trip.
It was a memorable activity, but not necessarily your favorite. So what was your actual favorite activity?
My actual favorite activity was the cooking classes. I mean, I guess that's more than one, but yeah, we took cooking classes, which is something we love to do. But this was like super dope because we had private cooking classes. Like they did it just for us. And it was like in the kitchen where they serve, like in the restaurant. So it was almost like a commercial kitchen also at the resort. And it was near the pool. So even the views overlooked the water. And the chefs gave us all of the attention. I mean, it was just that resort. They left us wanting nothing. They just really treated us like royalty. I'd gotten with them ahead of time to tell them all the things and all the plans I wanted to do. And the cooking classes were really, really memorable. And everybody got to participate. And I think seeing everybody smile on their face when they got to go up and do their cooking part was like really nice. So I really enjoyed the cooking.
You know, you just made me think of something that, yes, that the staff and the service was amazing, but there's also this piece that we sometimes overlook and forget about, that we're traveling as like 5 Black women across the world, and that multi-generational factor. And like, I think that they really attached to us because they saw that we were family, and like the way that we interact with each other, and it's infectious. Like I feel like people want to be a part of what we've got because we just look like we really enjoy each other, because we do. Like, you know, like our genuine enjoyment of each other, it like spreads.
It's
And
like they wanted to be adopted in. It's like they, like you said, they took us, like they wanted to be a part of it. Well, like, wait, y'all are family. Can we be family too?
And sometimes when people are working at resorts, they're far away from their family. Like in order to do the work that they're doing, they're not with their family. So seeing like somebody else's family be in the presence of each other like they are with theirs, it's like a good memory to see that.
And yes, 100%. And the other part I liked about the cooking classes and being like the favorite activity is we went during the Thanksgiving season. So one of the days we cooked was on Thanksgiving. So it was super cool to have like a different nationalities cuisine on Thanksgiving and still be able to cook it and prepare it ourselves like we would have done at home, right? So that was good. And I'm gonna go ahead and give a shout out to the Mercure Kudu in Maldives, because again, service was bar none the greatest. I don't know if I'll ever go back to the Maldives, but I don't know that I want to go anywhere else because the experience was so good that like, why mess up a good thing?
Yeah. And, you know, I wouldn't be me if I didn't say one little thing about Thanksgiving. You know, like it's not the holiday the way we've been celebrating it in the States that we think of, but for us, Thanksgiving is really a family time. So like, and to be thankful for each other. So even though I know there's some history there, right?
Right.
With the holiday in and of itself. When we say Thanksgiving, we really are talking about like our childhood memories of being together as family.
Yeah. And really being thankful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think one of the other activities I really did like was what you mentioned. One of your favorite memories was the photo shoot, because I mean, like, when is the last time we had professional photos as a family? I don't, or as the girls, I don't know if we've ever, with just
But
mom, auntie Kenya, like
well,
even with Granny. I don't know. Have we ever had a professional shoot?
so the professional shoot that comes to mind is when mom, granny, and auntie did their glamour shots. Like we weren't in them, but
No.
they had a mother daughters professional photo shoot at like what Olin Mills or something glamour
Designing
shop.
women's finest.
Yes, they looked like designing women, and then we did our own. And
Yeah,
ours, we looked like little Delta Burks. Like, you know, it's like I
exactly.
don't
Like
know,
it
or
was, the hair was just big. Like it just
like
was,
this is way before like John Benet Ramsey. Like it was just like if
yeah.
you take a little kid and put the most adult look, hair, makeup, clothing on them. Yeah. But I can't think of a time when all of us did a professional photo shoot. I think we have some photo shoots from like some of your birthday trips when you had us color coordinate in like
Yeah.
Jamaica.
Yeah,
When
but I
it's
don't
just
know
it's
that there
not
were, I
professional.
don't,
No, that's what I was like, it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
professional. We just
yeah,
have pictures of it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that Jamaica one, because Granny was in that one too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't think we ever have. So that was cool. And if you see our cover photo, that's from that photo shoot in the Maldives. It was just like and we were able to like group, right? Like we were able to do
Mhm.
just us, mom and auntie, just them, just the cousins, auntie and Kenya, us and mom. So it was
And I have a
really a
picture
nice
with
way
Auntie
to
also
capture
because I
that.
think the photographer was confused about who went with who. But I
Yeah,
mean,
he
that's a
did seem
great
a little
memory. But
confused.
I was like,
Yeah,
that's my aunt. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, like we are family. Yeah, he
Yeah.
just was like, okay, all y'all are together. And then like you didn't have to find any scenery because everything was scenic. Like,
Yes. So
can we
beautiful.
give a shout out to that overwater bungalow though? How about that?
Yes. And we made a travel sister friend,
We sure
like
did.
who had a bungalow with a pool. And
Shout out to Nzinga. I'm just gonna call
yes,
you out
and
Nzinga.
Zinga.
Thanks,
Yes, we're
sis.
gonna call you
Yeah.
out too. Yeah. It's like, and we'll put your information in this one too. But
Yeah.
yeah, Zinga, also a content creator, and she was doing her thing, and she was like, yeah, come on, come to my bungalow and you all can shoot shots in our pool, in my pool. It was
Yeah.
great.
We had so much fun like doing that was not a professional shoot. That was just us
Not
doing
at
a shoot.
all.
There are so many activities to remember. Like I just forgot how much we really did on that trip. But yeah,
I
so
mean,
we had those.
especially, sorry,
No, go ahead.
especially when you think of the Maldives as being like a couples trip, and we did the exact
Facts.
opposite of that. And we did the paddleboarding, we did the jet skiing, like we did if there was an activity to be done on the resort, we did it.
Oh, we did it. And Zinka was there by herself. So all the things
Yeah.
opposite. Even the person we met was opposite of what you think of when you think of a trip to the Maldives. But how about that dolphin watching though?
Oh, that was nice too.
See, that's what I mean. So many things.
They like put on
Y'all,
a show for us.
100% show. SeaWorld ain't got nothing on this. Okay. Like the dolphins like wait, I guess, for the boats to come out. I don't know. It was almost as if they paid them. They would ride alongside and like jump alongside of the boat and they just like follow us and like do tricks and stuff like out there in the water. It was crazy.
It was like their playtime. They were like, when do the humans come? Is what it felt
Yeah.
like.
And they were littler dolphins, if I remember, right? They
Yeah, they're
seemed a
pretty
bit
small.
smaller than what we're used to.
Well, so were the
Yeah,
sharks. Like when we mentioned
that's
earlier that
true.
the sharks were swimming around. These were not like the big great white sharks that you think of. These were pretty small in size as well. But I felt comfortable just swimming above them, looking down, swimming in the reef.
In fact, the workers called them baby sharks. I'm like, they are still sharks. Okay, they are not babies. Let's call it what it is. They're sharks. But yeah, yeah. We had a packed itinerary.
We
How do you feel
did.
about that?
Um, I feel like that worked. I mean, like it
It
didn't bother
worked.
me. Yeah,
Okay. I'm just
because
asking because like I'm team too much all day, every day. So since
yeah.
I was the planner, I planned it and I just wondered if I wore you out or everybody else out.
No, not me. I did like, I mean, because we could like do high intensity activities, low intensity activities, like you could plan it up and down a little bit. Like I'm here for activities all around. It's just like, maybe I don't want to go for a hike to a waterfall. and then go
Another
zip
episode.
lining and then go like, it's like all of these things back to back. I might need a cooking class in between there. Or so I think it's all about the balance of like figuring out the highs and lows.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's totally fair. I just like to ask, because sometimes my team too much can be too much, but
Hey, and it's a
um
good reference point for when you're planning again, because we know it's gonna happen.
me planning in my planning, didn't you? I feel like you said that I'm not for hire. I think I might have retired. I don't know.
You're not for hire for other people. You do this for free for me.
I mean, I feel like I just was told that I don't have an option and I'm voluntold to be the planner from now until the rest of my life, guys.
I
I
mean,
don't know
that's
about.
that's your role. My role is accommodations. Your role is activities. We have a good thing going here.
Okay, don't mess up. Don't try and fix what's not broken.
Yeah, stay in your lane and I'm gonna stay in mine.
Okay. Yeah. The only last thing I'll say before we kind of close out talking about the Maldives, I will say that it was definitely a learning for me to just realize that mom and auntie are slowing down a little bit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it was definitely different in that way than traveling with them when we were younger, right? They were taking care of us before, and I felt like it was a lot more of us looking out and taking care of them this time.
Yeah, I would say that dynamic is definitely starting to shift. And I know that when they hear this, they're gonna be like, what? No,
Yeah.
they're not gonna appreciate this, I'm
Well,
pretty sure.
they probably won't listen to the whole thing anyway, right? But
Uh,
anyway.
Somebody's gonna tell them. But besides that part, I do also feel like, you know, we also, as you, myself, and Kenya, our cousin, can we can relieve some things and like have roles amongst the three of us too.
Yeah.
As we know that mom and auntie, the roles that they used to play, somebody needs to take on some of those roles. So we have some work to do with this changing dynamic too and figuring out,
Right. Like us
okay,
kind of figuring out each person's strength and role and how that's going to go.
yeah,
But so blessed, feeling so blessed that we still all get to travel together and everybody is here and able to travel with each other and enjoy each other's time, even if it might be look a little different or be at a little different speed than maybe what we used to do before.
yeah, because this was really, I feel like this was your first time traveling with mom and auntie like that.
In a very long time. Yeah. I can't
Yeah,
really
like
think of,
as an adult and as
yeah.
they've been aging, because I went on a cruise with them
Oh, that's right. Yes. So definitely my first time for
and with
sure. Yeah.
Granny. Yeah. So
And,
like
and
I
cruises
think
are a lot more contained too.
I was one of the only people I think under 60 on the boat besides people who worked
The
on the
whole
boat.
boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
that's what I
had
was like.
not
So
had that
I've
experience.
had an interesting experience with this too. But yeah.
Well, all right.
It's time to dig into the files for today's tip.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. You know what time it is. It's time for tip time. And today we promised an international layover tip of the day. We flew Turkish Airways to the Maldives, as mentioned in the episode. And a little known fact about Turkish Airlines is that they offer a free city tour or a free hotel night if you have an extended layover. If you have a layover of 8 hours or more or have an overnight, you can take a choice to take a city tour or have a hotel night so that you can explore the city. Y'all, this was great. This was all part of my surprise. Okay. I didn't tell them, they just knew we had a long flight, but I didn't tell them that we would be getting out and leaving the airport so they could get an extra stamp in their passport. I had been to Turkey, but everyone else had not. And it was important to me that they got to see a little bit of this magical old city. And we took the Bosphorus boat ride because I knew some mobility challenges would be there. And this way we could just sit back, auntie and mom could sit back on the boat and enjoy the city at night. And when they even gave us a little meal, y'all. So they gave us like a nice Mediterranean meal, transfers to and from the airport. And then we were on our way to get to the Maldives after our nice city tour and extra stamps in our passport. How did you like that surprise, Shan?
That surprise was great. We are always trying to collect extra stamps in our passport. So any way we could do it, that was awesome. And we did this also in Korea.
Yes, I was going to
So
say, this was just one airline. So many international airlines have this service. So if you have a long layover or schedule a long layover, because we definitely traveled a shorter time on the way back, I intentionally scheduled a long layover on the way to the Maldives so that we could take this trip. My recommendation is doing it on your way to, because you might be exhausted on your way back. Up to you, but that's our insider travel tip of the day.
Great tip, Brandee. Thanks for sharing. And thank you to all of you all for joining us for another episode of Brannon Files. We'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.
Thank you for rocking with us as we embark on this journey. The Brannon Files podcast is a labor of love. Be sure to follow us on YouTube, IG, and Facebook at Brannon Files and check back for our next episode.